Hey guys, Corrie here with a new scrapbook process video for you. So I had this, I think, brilliant idea after I was inspired to scrapbook with just the color blue. I was looking back through some of my feed and I saw that and I was like, it'd be really cool to do like a rainbow series where each page was, based around one color of the rainbow. So I have been plotting this and I've got it all planned out. And so I have got my first page of my rainbow series, which is going to be violet. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh no, it should be red, but I am going to do it backwards and I think it'll be really cool once it's all said and done. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, if you guys have watched any of my videos before, you know that purple is not exactly the easiest color for me to scrapbook with. And that's just because although it's beautiful, it's just not a color that that I connect with for whatever reason. But it is really pretty and I do like the way that it turns out. So I figure, if I'm going to do this rainbow series, I think that to start off with probably the color that's the most difficult for me is awesome. So I have this idea to kind of do it like this big diamond around with my photo in the center. So I just lightly with pencil drew the diamond so I would have the basic shape that I want to stay within. And I'm just going to layer these pieces around. Now they're not going to stay in this place. I've just decided that what I was going to do was I was going to just lay them out so I kind of had a guide, and then I'm also going to fill in some of these spaces with purple paint. So I got the paint out and I've got like about a 1-inch brush since that's about what these little squares are. I did just tear them so they're not perfect, but and then I'm just going to fill in some spaces here and there with purple paint. I don't have very many purple embellishments or purple paper, which I was actually pretty excited that I had this much purple paper. I did go through all of my stuff and like pulled out different things here and there that I was like, okay, this is going to work. This is going to work. But it's just funny because it's just not even a color I really buy. What is even more funny too is that it actually is one of my daughter's favorite colors. Now it's not the girl that's in this photograph, it is my younger one, and she loves the color purple, but I just for whatever reason don't ever get it. So these are some mermaid markers that I'm using, 2 different colors. There's like a light purple and a dark purple one, and I figured those would be great too to add some of these little squares in just to kind of mix it up a little bit, like the different things that I'm using. And then I will start getting some of these little squares adhered down here and there. Most of these papers were from Cocoa Vanilla, I think, and then the purple cardstock actually came in a hip kit from May, actually. So that was cool. I pulled that out and I was super excited to see that. I used a little die cut piece and cut a square out of that. And I'm just going through and getting things adhered down. I'm trying to make another color purple a little bit darker than the first one. It works, but like it's not like it's anything special, honestly. Like I don't think that it even was like it was a lot of mixing for no real extraordinary benefit. You know how sometimes that goes. But I'm just going to go ahead and get some of these in. I didn't want every square to be exactly the same, and I felt like they were kind of getting a little bit too much sameness going on. So I did try to just put some little watercolor lines in there and things like that. And then I remembered that I had this little package of vellum papers and one of them has purple stripes, which was awesome. And so I did go ahead and pull that out too, and I was very happy once I was like, oh, there's something else I can use besides these. How funny that I never used purple and I was already going, okay, I need a little bit something more. So I am going to just, of course, add some splotchy things to my page because I don't want it to just be these little squares. Got to make it a little bit messier than that. And then once that's dry, I'm going to use then this, I call it a stencil, but it's made out of paper, but it did come in the May hip kits. And I'm just going to use that as a stencil. So what I did, not even as a stencil, but kind of like as a paintbrush, like a stamp almost. So I just added a little bit of that purple paint to it and then flipped it over. And then I'm just kind of stamping it on the page here and there. I love the look of that. And I figured it was perfect, like, because it's all squares, and this is, you know, this is like a little grid sheet. So it just worked out really well. I'm going to go ahead and start with my photo. I used a little piece of that vellum paper. It made it look like washi. And then I thought, oh, I need to layer something behind it. And the doily just was too girly and it just didn't work. I felt like for everything else that I had done on this page. So I just got some tissue paper out and I'm going to layer my photo on top of this tissue paper, just because I felt like when seeing the photo just sitting there in the center with nothing around the edges, it was almost like it blended in with that busy background too much. And I felt like just a little bit of tissue paper was just going to kind of soften the transition to the background. That's a lot of the reason why I end up doing layers, is just to kind of soften that transition, because I do have a tendency to sometimes to make the background a little crazy. And so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't too, like, it just didn't end up blending in. I wanted it to actually stand out a little bit. That's the photo. So my title on this page is going to be Fave Beach Shop. And the girls think that going to the beach is really fun, obviously, but then what's even can make it even more fun is when the beach area has like some fabulous chalk shops. And this is in Fort Morgan, or Gulf Shores, Alabama. And we had been down there and it was cold. So, you know, she's got a sweater and jeans on because it was early March. But this shop is so cool. You have to walk underneath the octopus to get into it. There's another one that's got a shark, but they love going in these shops. They just think it's so much fun. What was crazy is this place actually had some really awesome stuff. Like, and it wasn't all like seashell decor. Like, this place had some really good like clothes and hats and shoes and everything else, and we were actually having a lot of fun in there, and spent quite some time in the shop just goofing around and trying things on, and you know, planning out our future beach house with all the different mermaid decor items. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of journaling in there. It's not too much, just a little bit of stuff about the cool beach shop. And then I'm going to go through basically all of these embellishments that I had pulled out. I went through like all of my stash and trying to find anything that had purple in it. So basically everything that has purple, I'm just kind of pulling out and adding to this page. Now, this little arrow paper clip has no purple on it, which is fine, but it's like super duper cute and I really wanted it on the page. So I'm going to use some of these Jane Davenport rub-ons, and I'm just going to use the purple ones, just adding a little bit of extra color here and there, layering those on the purple squares that I've already got on the page. Actually, these rub-ons was sort of the inspiration for this page, because I remembered I had them, I'd pulled them out for the purple, and I was like, oh, you know what? I could make the whole page kind of like a purple swatch. I did use this little purple drink. I end up taking that up because it really just doesn't fit for the theme of my page, and so I didn't really like it on there. It felt weird. It was like, oh, it's purple, I used it, but it didn't really help. It didn't add anything to it. So just adding the last few things here and there. The background is pretty good, so I don't feel like it needs too much more. Make everything adhered really, really well. And even though I'm looking, there's nothing else to add. And that's it. So first page of my rainbow series, it is violet. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Here's some details. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me in the comment section and I'll be happy to get back with you. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and you can always find me creatively on Instagram at Corrie J Creative. Bye.